The headlines. Airport work stoppage likely on Friday. Sinckler says government is working hard to clear income tax arrears. And the new Cricket Masters League is forcing fringe Windies players to retire. Welcome to Nation News for Wednesday, January the 27th, 2016. Workers at the Grantley Adams International are said to be planning a 2-hour protest on Friday over the non-payment of back pay. National Union of Public Workers officials who met with airport workers earlier declined to confirm the industrial action, but the workers say it is planned to run from midday till 2 o'clock. It was not immediately clear how this would affect flights and operations at the airport. The workers were upset when they were reportedly told they will not be paid the remaining 3.5% increase they say is owed from a 7.5% hike agreed to between 2009 and 2010. Finance Minister Sinckler says government is working hard to reduce the backlog of income tax and value-added tax returns. He said the Treasury has started paying out income tax returns owed from 2014, and the backlog should be cleared substantially by the end of March. Mr. Sinckler was making a contribution from the floor during the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry's monthly luncheon.
There is a committee in place at the cash flow committee with the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance and the other departments. There is a special subcommittee that deals specifically now with the issue of arrears, arrears of all types, trade arrears, trade payables, and of course the tax refunds and returns and whatever the case may be. So it is not as though the government is standing around idle, knowing that he's owing these resources to persons in the community and not making an effort to pay them down. The VAT, of course, is a little bit more complicated because it not only has to do with backlog of processed agreed payments, but it also entails payments that are under contestation.
An opposition MP says it's time for private haulers to be brought in to assist the Sanitation Service Authority in collecting garbage. Member of Parliament for St. George North Glen Clark told Parliament that many of the SSA's trucks are in bad condition and it is clear government can't do the job on its own. He was speaking during debate on a resolution to provide the agency with about $6 million to pay salaries. Mr. Clark said the private haulers have the equipment and could concentrate on the commercial sector. However, Minister of the Environment, Dennis Lowe, said private trucks had not collected garbage since 1945, and the law does not permit it without certain conditions. Mr. Lowe also announced that the authority will get 15 new trucks this year at a cost of about $10 million. Police will have greater powers of arrest under a new domestic violence law that Parliament has begun to debate. But opposition MP and former Attorney General Dale Marshall has cautioned that the new authority for officers may be too great, unconstitutional even. The new bill, which was piloted in the House of Assembly by Social Care Minister Steve Blackett on Tuesday, will allow police to enter homes without a warrant and issue protection orders on the spot. But Mr. Marshall said giving the police the authority to arrest without a warrant may be illegal. The bill, the MP noted, also speaks to economic harassment and financial abuse and gave an example of not providing money for food. And he said this would present a grey area for police officers. Mr. Marshall said, however, that the opposition supported in principle government's efforts to protect domestic violence victims. Economics professor Andrew Downs says the Barbados economy is improving slowly, but the fiscal deficit still needs to be brought further under control. Speaking during a televised panel discussion on the economy on Tuesday night, he said government spending needs to be reduced as well. Professor Downs said, however, that taxation should not be increased to the point where it discourages economic activity. He said that while the increased tourist arrivals are good for Barbados, other sectors need to grow over the next few months and years.
I still think there's hope for the agriculture sector. There's still a lot of the unused land for livestock and vegetable production, and that sort of market gardening type of activity can take place. And there's always that ongoing demand in the restaurants and the hotels for local produce. Yeah. So I think what we need, however, is to be able to get those sectors, agriculture, and not so much manufacturing. I think manufacturing will have to be specialized, as Delilah indicated, in selected areas. But I think there's still hope for aspects of the agriculture sector. I think the issue has to be the extent to which people will be interested in engaging activity in those sectors. I don't sense right now that people are seeing a long-term livelihood in those particular ones, especially when you talk about the areas where there's high level unemployment for which people can easily get jobs. And the unemployment tends to be fairly high in relation to youth unemployment. It's probably extremely high, but you don't get a sense that people are interested in going to those sectors.
As the Americas region continues to grapple with the spread of the mosquito-borne illness Zika, the Ministry of Health here is awaiting the results of 27 samples. A government release said the samples have been sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad. 3 cases of the virus have been confirmed in Barbados, and the ministry has again urged members of the public to take necessary precautions. Women who are pregnant or may become pregnant are asked to take special precautions as babies have been born with birth defects in other countries. In sport, cricket's new Masters Champions League, the MCL, is hastening the end of the international careers of a number of West Indies cricketers. Shivnarine Chandapal said goodbye at the weekend, and he's now been joined in international retirement by Barbadians Tino Best and Fidel Edwards and Jamaica's Chrisma Santoki. The 4 had to apply to the West Indies board for what's called no objection certificates to allow them to play in the Masters League, which begins in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday. Brian Lara will be among the agent stars on show. The tournament was set up by Pakistan-born Zafar Shah, a cricket enthusiast and entrepreneur, so that many of the top legends that had left international cricket prior to the launch of the G20 could compete in the format. And finally, a father who was accused of theft in Texas after he confiscated his 12-year-old daughter's cell phone over an inappropriate text has been acquitted of the misdemeanor charge. A judge in Dallas found Ronald Jackson not guilty on Tuesday, citing insufficient evidence. Police arrested Mr. Jackson a few hours after he commandeered his daughter's cell phone and refused to return it. The 36-year-old father says a text he found on the phone was rude. The girl's mother says she owns the cell phone and reported the confiscation as theft. The father went to court and successfully fought the citation involving his now 15-year-old daughter. He also kept the cell phone. And that's Nation News for Wednesday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Daily Nation on Thursday or subscribe to our daily paper, to our e-paper.